Good day, ladies and gents. Welcome back to Metuz TV with a first impressions video. It has been a little while since I did one of these, but I felt compelled to do so with the new addition to the roster which came out today on the EUS server, and that is Draven. And he's a really interesting character actually. Played him a few times today, between 5 and 10 times I'd say, and I've had mixed fortunes with him. I've probably won 70-80% of the games, but I don't think that he is a massively OP champion. I'm going to say that right off the bat. I think he's very much item dependent. Hit first few levels with the Q, which is his spinning axe, which I actually have put a point in first. Now I'd advise you do the same if you play the Draven. Wow, that was weird. Bit of a time warp there. But yeah, I would advise you to take a point in Q first, because Q is really important. Obviously you fire it off them, it bounces back in the air, and if you catch it, it doesn't actually come off cooldown, so you can keep doing it for a little while, and it's really nice damage on top of everything else. It takes, let's have a quick look, 45% of his total attack damage at level 1, so obviously as you stack that up, put the points in there, it's going to do more and more and more, and it's really the bread and butter of Draven, so definitely max out Q whenever you can. And second is going to be Blood Rush. It gives him a movement and attack speed increase. And additionally, if you do catch a spinning axe, which of course was his Q, the aforementioned Q, then it will refresh the cooldown of Blood Rush. And Blood Rush is really good in those kind of quick, gritty teamfight situations, and also finishing players off. So again, Blood Rush, in my opinion, is second most important to the Q. And finally, the standard abilities is going to be Stand Aside, and it's kind of his CC move. He throws it down the middle, it knocks people backwards and slows them for 20% for 2 seconds at level 1. Doesn't do a great deal of damage, it's more just for slowing people down and keeping them out of the way, and also of course if you want to chase them down, if you can land a good E, it could make all the difference. His ultimate is Whirling Death, and it's kind of difficult to explain exactly what it is. He fires out an ultimate, has global range. If you press R again, it will recall the Whirling Death, and it'll start to come back to you instantly. So it's kind of like an Ashe ultimate, but nothing like it. It doesn't stun, it goes straight through them, comes right back again. So if you can place yourself a well timed Whirling Death, you're going to get tons and tons of kills with that one. It's going to be 1v1 between me and Corky. The Qs are coming off. You can see the Whirling Blade is bouncing up and down, a spinning blade I should say, and I have caught a couple of them, so I will take down Corky. I've popped my flash though to make sure I survived, and this is really close. My thought process behind this was, if I'd have just leveled there while I flashed at 2, then I would have got the kill onto Rise. So I was trying my best to keep away from him, from his Q. I think he has first. Yes, he does. He's got the overload. I was trying my best to keep away from his Q while leveling up myself, and then I would have finished him off, because obviously you get a bit of health back when you do ding. Unfortunately, my plan fell completely short, and I looked like a retard because I didn't ding, and then Rise finished me off, but he was on very, very low health in doing so. So that's a quick 1-for-1 right off the bat. So it's quite important for Draven to get yourself fed up, to get nice items. I would definitely recommend that you go Berserker's Grease, 2 Doran's Blades, fairly standard stuff for AD carries. After that, Infinity Edge is such a good item for him. The critical does actually stack with your Wicked Blades passive, and it's Draven's critical strikes deal 34 bonus and physical damage over 4 seconds. So with the Infinity Edge and the Phantom Dancer, you're going to be proccing off that an awful lot of times, and it can really make a difference between a kill and an assist. So I'm going to be going to Corky again. You can see the damage that I'm doing right now. I am looking for the kill, but unfortunately hit it flash away. But here's where comes the passive, the Wicked Blade. You did see that Corky fell afterwards, very much like an ignite had been placed on him. That was just my passive ticking down. So that, in a nutshell, is why Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer later on in the game is going to be so good for Draven, and why I'd really recommend that you do build them items. Also, Bloodthirster, of course, goes without saying how good that is on an AD carry. Also, Last Whisper, depending on who you're against, and then maybe something like a Guardian's Angel, a Quicksilver Sash, or maybe even a Banshee's Veil, depending on who you're against. I mean, obviously, League of Legends goes without saying as well, is very much a situation-dependent game, so you don't want to be building the same standard build every single time. You want to be able to be a bit versatile dependent on who you're against. So I am actually laning with a Lulu, as you noticed before, and Lulu, I'm not too sure how well she actually works with Draven, because this particular game, as you can see, it's Rise and Corky at bot. Rise is going, I guess, for a quote-unquote support kind of role. He's okay at supporting, but of course a character like Corki really needs a bit of sustain with him. He can't afford to be getting harassed down all the time from me and Lulu as well. And you can see the damage that we're doing once again as Lulu's going to pick up the kill onto Rise. Corki may be able to finish Lulu off here, but it's going to be close. There is the E, the standard side landing onto Corki, and I will be actually taking that one down with Lulu narrowly escaping death. So again, that's where standard side really comes in useful for ruining the day of chasers of your team, or also opening up onto characters as well. So really good stuff on Draven. He's a great character. I mean, overall I'd probably say that he's my favourite new character for probably the last half a year. I think he's so interesting to play. The mechanics of the Q definitely keep it fresh for much longer than, you know, a Darius, for example, who I got bored of very quickly. He's got a lot of personality as well. I think Draven is supposed to come across as a bit of a showman, quite arrogant but fairly humorous at the same time, and in that sense it works a charm. I also love this Soul Reaver skin that came along with him. It's different voice acting, or at least different sounds, and also I noticed that when you press B to recall, it's like Draven out or something like that. So it's kind of cool. It's those little touches that keep things interesting, in my opinion. So Soul Reaver, definitely worth it, and as you can see right now, it looks fairly decent as well in game. So definitely recommend it. So I have been fairly busy over the last couple weeks, guys. So really, if you did first subscribe to my YouTube as a League of Legends viewer and as a League of Legends lover, then I do apologize that it's been a long time since I did my last video. It's been down to me playing Let's Plays of games like Fear, of Doom 3, of Amnesia. On top of that, I've been casting a lot of League of Legends with Chaos TV, so I haven't really had as much free time to actually jump into games like this and to try and get commentaries out there for you. But I do aim to get a few more coming up. I've got a couple games saved on my hard drive right now that I can use, and I just wanted to make sure this one came out first, because there's probably a couple of you that are thinking, okay, Draven looks quite interesting, but I'm not sure if I want to commit to that 6,300 IP points. Do I really want to be going ahead for that? You can see the damage I'm doing on Corki right there is crazy. I think he's actually going to get dropped here. Yes, he will. And now I'm trying my best to escape. I have to pop heal because Rise is doing a lot of damage, but I'm going to be going back on towards Karthus. Lay Waste does come out, and an Ignite used onto Lulu. Is she going to survive this? Very close. She will actually manage to survive. But there's a Requiem, so actually, nope, she's not. She goes down, and Karthus does claim himself the kill. So I'm currently on 4 kills, 1 death, 1 assist. Overall, 5 kills, 2 deaths on our team. And from what I remember of this game, it got fairly one-sided. I think Draven is the kind of character that if you can get items quickly, so if you finish off the Infinity Edge within 15 to 20 minutes, somewhere around that vicinity, if you get the Phantom Dancer between 22 to 25 minutes, then you're going to just rock everybody. Here's the ultimate, by the way, from Draven that I'm following. So you can see that it goes through Rise, I recall it again, comes back through him, and takes him down to 370 HP. So that, in a nutshell, is the Whirling Death, and it's awesome to use. I really enjoy the mechanics of Draven, especially his ultimate. I got a few kills earlier today where I was actually screaming because of how close I was to finishing a player off, or, you know, cheering when I actually managed to get a kill. It's that kind of stuff that keeps me interested in characters and keeps me playing them, and Draven's definitely one of those characters. As I said before, Darius, the reason I'm using Darius as an example is because, of course, he was the newest addition before Draven came out. He's very simple. There's not a lot of, you know, new mechanics in him. His ultimate similar to I guess you could say Garen's, and if you've played Heroes of Newerth, it's very similar to a Legionnaire. If there's any Heroes of Newerth watchers, they'll be like, oh yeah, I see where you're coming from. So Darius to me wasn't really anything fresh, but Draven really is. So you can see I have picked up the BF sword, and it's doing a lot of nice damage. Remember that his Q does use a percentage of his attack damage. I've got 3 points in there now for Spinning Axe. So it's using 65% of my total attack damage, 84 bonus physical damage on a Q. So it's really strong, especially when you consider that it's only 9 minutes through the game. It's going to be difficult for these two to actually withstand a lot of fire that I'm going to be putting down on them. We are just pushing their lane consistently. I've got 43 creep score at the moment. Not as high as it should be, but obviously I do have 4 kills and 1 assist to make up for that. And let's have a look at Corky. He's on 7. So he has been well and truly bossed out of this lane. I'm level 6, nearly level 7, and he is level 4. So again, big difference. My ultimate's up off cooldown. At this level, it's going to do 175 plus 67, and it may also proc off the Wicked Blade. So lots and lots of damage. I'm going to be maybe using my ultimate here to finish off Corky. In fact, I'm going to be going on to Rise instead. Do finish him off. And Corky did do the smart thing and moved away, because as soon as those whirling deaths come out, it's either you or him. So make sure that Draven doesn't get a double kill. Just allow it to be 1 in the best case scenario. So this tower's going to be going down just after 10 minutes. And it's really difficult for me actually to keep talking about Draven, because I always find that in these kind of commentaries that the pictures do the character justice. You're either going to like the way he looks, you're going to like the way his mechanics are, you know, you're going to like the way that he handles, or you're not. And it's pretty much that simple. So generally what I'll do is I'll give you a first impressions, I'll give him a thumb up or a thumb down, and I'll talk about something else. So in this instance, I'd say Draven, if you're teetering on the edge and thinking, do I buy him or don't I? Get him. Just go ahead and get him. He'll be something new, at least. He may not be Mr. OP compared to a lot of the other AD carries out there. I think he's very strong with full item build. You could say the same of any character though. Just hold that thought for a second. I'm not sure if I get away from this. I did take down Nocturne. I don't think... Oh well, I'm not either way because Requiem just came out. And yeah, so I basically got a double kill. So that was a 2-for-2 exchange at the bot lane. And that actually didn't work out too bad for me and bot, because right now you can see that I have the BF Sword, Berserker's Greaves, 2 Doran's Blades, and a pickaxe. So for this stage of the game I'm going to be doing a lot of damage, especially with my Q, which is now doing 75% of my attack damage, 129 bonus on top of my auto attack. So crazy stuff there. Sejuani I think is going to go down. No? Really? Okay, well I guess she's not going to go down there, but Corky is coming back in, flashing the kill, so nice. And he did pop the heal afterwards. So he went ballsy, did pick it up, and Lulu's doing the old ... of doom. Am I going to get a kill? Yes I am! Onto Corky, and that was back from around here. And that's what I mean. Right there. That is Draven. He is so much fun. I could pop off ultimates like that all day long and still have a good laugh after 5 or 6 hours. So that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying before. If he looks interesting, go ahead and get him. If he doesn't, then don't bother, because the chances are you're probably not going to enjoy him. Either way, I'd give him a thumbs up for sure. Now I want to just brush on another topic that a lot of you guys ask me on quite a frequent basis. Probably at least I'll get 1 message or so a day asking me how to do this, and it's how do I get into shoutcasting? Because obviously I used to do a lot of LOL commentaries before, but I never really did, you know, shoutcasting for big games. I never did live streaming for big games or anything like that. And over the last month or two, Chaos TV and myself have started to get much more active in that. We've got a bit of a fan base. I wouldn't say that I'm known by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, people are starting to become known in regards to Chaos TV. Ooh, that's nice damage right there from Nocturne, but is it actually enough? No, it's not for Lulu. Lulu way too strong. Gonna hit the second kill, am I? Onto Carthus. Big damage. He's gonna go down. Yes, he will. Nice. Requiem. I'm gonna get a third. I'm gonna get a third. Ah, fuck. The team was a tiny bit slow to react, but I should never have towered over that. That was kind of dumb from me. But yeah, in regards to shoutcasting, people are asking me, how do you get into it? How difficult was it? Do you feel that it's worth your time and effort and all this kind of stuff? And I actually wrote an article on this on KSTV's website, which I think I'll give a link to below this, so you can have a quick read. It's fairly simple. There's nothing in it that's out of the ordinary. It's just basic kind of guidelines. I'm probably going to repeat quite a lot of it here now in this video. But the simple answer is, if you want to get into shoutcasting, you're going to have to practice, because it's not going to be given to you on a platter. It just won't be. It's difficult for me to sympathize with people that want the world but aren't willing to put the effort in to get there. So if you really do want to become a shoutcaster in League of Legends and you have aspirations to really go to a high level and to be casting TSM, Moscow 5, to be going to like the DreamHack and casting live or whatever it is, whatever the case may be, you're going to have to put the effort in, and it all starts from day one. You're going to have to do a lot of demos. You're going to have to practice, practice, practice. Be honest with yourself as well. Do you have what it takes to be a caster? And my criteria to be a caster is fairly simple. Do you have thick skin? Are you confident? And can you speak fluently? Now, if any of those answers are a no, then straight away I would probably deter you from casting, because the likelihood is that you may get to a fairly decent level, but you're never going to make the top league. And by the way, before anyone says, oh, you're being arrogant, dishing out all this, I don't rate myself as a top caster by any stretch of the imagination. I wouldn't even put myself in that kind of top tier. I would put myself average, low to average caster right now. I'm trying to improve all the time. I'm trying to do demos, I'm trying to practice, I'm trying to do lower down tournaments and all this kind of stuff. That's what I'm talking about. You can never be happy as a caster. You're always going to have to improve. Even the top casters, you know, they'll always be trying to do something better, try and bring something innovative in that no other caster's done, or try and inject some extra enthusiasm, or brush up on their homework on certain players or characters or teams or tournaments. There's so much stuff that you can be doing, and I find it very difficult to believe that any caster sat out there right now is 100% happy with their casting. It's something you have to be willing to improve. So, going back to what I said before, does that mean that if you aren't a native English speaker that you shouldn't cast? No. I know some Dutch casters who are fine. I know German casters that are just fine as well. There's a guy called Aspec, for example. He's quite loved or hated in the sense that some people love him, you know, they're very much fanboys of him, and some people can't stand his casting. Well, regardless, the dude can cast. I mean, he has fluent English, he has a lot of charisma, and you can't really deny that's the case. Oh my god, that was so close to taking down Darius. So yeah, I mean, going back to what I was saying before, you don't have to be a native speaking English person. You can, you know, learn English. As long as you're fluent, it's not a problem. Accent, to me personally, doesn't really matter. As long as the caster can speak fluently, and as long as they have a point and they can explain that point properly, then it's all good as far as I'm concerned. The second part is being confident and having thick skin. That's kind of the same part altogether. If you let really negative comments bring you down on a regular basis, and if you let people tell you you're terrible, you're crap, you're the worst caster ever, and you allow that to basically put you off casting, then don't even bother going in, because I'll guarantee you right now, every single caster has had hatred thrown at them at one stage or another. It just goes hand in hand, because, you know, you're on the internet, it's anonymous, no one has to be held accountable for what they say, so they can be racist, they can say they want you to die, they can say get cancer, they can say one of a million disgusting things that in real life they wouldn't dare to, but they get away with it because it's on the internet. So I would definitely recommend that if you're going to go into casting and you do find negative kind of feedback as a massive turn off and you can't deal with that, then just don't even bother. And that ties in with being confident. People can sense weakness in casters if you don't sound confident, if you don't sound like you know what you're talking about. Because the worst thing from a casting point of view for viewers is if you go on and you don't have a clue what you're talking about. And this goes back as well into what I said before about doing your homework. Find out the characters, find out who counters who, find out some of the game history, find out some of the team history, the players history, what teams are they coming from, what kind of top 3, top 5 characters do they like, etc, etc, etc. You get where I'm going with this. So you really need to put the time and effort in. In regards to actually starting off casting, I know from the example, and this is the only way that I can really talk about it because I haven't been in other companies apart from Chaos TV, but as far as Chaos TV is concerned, you can go on their website and you can contact them. And if you tell them, for example, I would like to cast, and this is my age, this is how often I can cast, this is how much experience I have, blah de blah de blah, then they'll give you a trial. Or if you have no experience and you aren't, you know, quote unquote known, they may ask you to provide a demo of some of your casting abilities. So a YouTube video, casting 2 teams, whatever. It could even be a mix, a PCW, could even be just a random ranked game that you've stumbled into and spectated. It doesn't matter. They want to see what you're capable of doing, what you're made of. So again, you can find yourself getting into these tournaments, getting into the companies. Oh dear me, Smuggy, that was a poor ultimate. As I'm talking about KSTV, this is actually the streamer and the producer Bass, the guy that you never hear on stream for KSTV, but he's always there every single day. So I've casted with him an awful lot, and he's the guy that will be reviewing your demos if you do send them into KSTV. So this is what I'm talking about. There are opportunities out there, but you just have to be willing to put the effort in. And it's possible that he may listen to the demo that you'd send in, and this is just an example again. It may not be Bass, it could be a number of different people that are in the casting kind of scene. They may listen to demo and they may not like it. They may give you some pointers on how to improve. They may say, okay, we'll come back in a couple months time, get some more experience under your belt, whatever. And you can either, again, that's down to the confidence and thick skin. You can let that affect you and you can be like, oh, well, what's the point? Or you can be like, okay, right, well, they've given me some pointers and now I want to improve, so I'm going to go in there and I'm going to do it. So that's really my 2 cents on how to get into shoutcasting. That's really my 2 cents on you know, people saying there's no opportunities out there for amateur casters to improve. I mean, it's flat out wrong, you know, because Chaos TV came from nothing, and they're now casting the Medion Cup Challenge, which just finished. They casted, of course, their Vengeance Cup, which is for like 10,000 euros. They've casted a lot of League of Legends now in a short period of time, and we do still need to improve tenfold. You know, there's lots of things that we can work on, but the point is that we're getting there, so there's no reason that you couldn't. So I hope that's helped some of you. I haven't really gone into massive details. I will try and help. If you have questions, ask them below. For example, I get asked a lot about YouTube, which programs I use to do the recording. Okay, I'll go through that now. Fraps is to record the actual game, so right now I'm recording on Fraps. And then I use Sony Vegas to render. And then, of course, I just upload to YouTube. So Sony Vegas costs a fair amount. I was lucky that Kira, my girlfriend, already had it because she's a 3D designer. She does a lot of stuff through Sony Vegas anyway, so I just use hers. As far as Fraps is concerned, it doesn't cost very much, so I definitely recommend that you get that. The only downside is that you're going to have a fairly decent PC, otherwise it's going to get quite painful. In regards to the PC that I'm currently running, I'm on a laptop. It's a Medion gaming laptop at the moment. It's not amazing specs, but it's good enough to do YouTube. It's good enough to use Fraps on relatively high detail, but as far as streaming is concerned, I can't do that. So I am looking at getting a new PC, but obviously they're not cheap and it's going to take a little while. Anything else about making videos? Wow. Speaking of which, I'm getting a bit of lag, which is quite nice. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I would just advise that if you are going to make some YouTube videos, you inject a lot of personality into them. You allow yourself to come across, and people to either decide if they like it or they don't like it. Wow, Corki is getting destroyed. I mean, that right there, just going back to what I said before, the Phantom Dancer and Infinity Edge combination is just disgusting with Draven. It's really disgusting. Especially this kind of stage of the game. You can really just rip through players very, very quickly. And now I have a feeling that Karthus is... Yeah, I mean, just look at the damage that I'm doing right now to Karthus. That's the thing about skill. I mean, sure, I did catch a couple of blades or whatever, but it's not the most difficult of things to do. That's just purely on my build, and it's purely on the farm that I have compared to Corki. So let's have a quick look. Corki 75, I'm at 154. So, I mean, you can see right there the difference. I'm on 15 kills, 3 deaths, 4 assists. He is on 1 kill, 6 deaths, 1 assist. And that's not me slating him or anything, it's just me purely stating that having a good build with Draven will equal lots and lots of kills. You can really snowball with Draven hardcore. Especially if you get that last Whisper. He cut through tanks very, very quickly on top of everything else. His ultimate's very good in those kind of team fights where it's claustrophobic and everyone's stacking together. You can just rip it right through the middle. It's also good for engaging and also picking up stragglers that are trying to run away. So Draven really, really strong. I mean, Darius here is actually... He doesn't have amazing items, but they're not exactly bad. And I'm cutting through him pretty quickly. So again, Draven is a scary, scary dude to come against. Okay. So, I apologise guys if I'm dribbling on and stuff, but I just wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. Obviously it's like a first impressions of Draven. I've only played him today, I know a lot of you guys that are watching this maybe haven't played him yet and were wondering how he handles, how he feels, what he looks like, what he sounds like, my opinions. I hope I have answered some of those questions. If you want anything else to be answered, then feel free. I have no idea what this Garthus is doing, but he's going to die. But you can feel free to, again, just leave a comment below and I'll answer them as soon as I possibly can. And yeah, I hope you're enjoying the gameplay. I do plan on bringing out some more videos very shortly, not just League of Legends, but also, of course, the Feel at Solar Cells that I have going at the moment. I haven't forgot about Doom 3 as well. I'm going to be doing 2 different games at the same time. This was kind of dangerous for me, actually. I did half engage underneath that tower. Another day I would have died. If they weren't so out-farmed and out-leveled, I would have actually died there. So that was kind of touch and go for me. Maybe shouldn't have got away with that, should have been punished. But either way, that's going to be the inhib falling at about 24 minutes 45. And we're now going to try and push those Nexus towers down. So, yeah. It's looking very comfortable for us. I do know that we win in the next couple minutes, so yeah. Finally, I just want to give a big shout out and lots of love to Chaos TV, because Bass, he really deserves a lot more credit than he gets. People will whine about his camera skills, they'll whine about, you know, oh my god, this directed cam sucks balls, 111, you know, all this kind of stuff, but the guy put so much effort into casting, so much effort into streaming, that if he wasn't there, I mean, quite simply, you wouldn't see any of these games being casted. It's kind of that simple. I know that when he's streaming, he's basically controlling 2 different PCs at the same time. He is trying to make sure that there's no lag issues. He's talking with maybe 3 to 4 people. He's doing a lot of stuff, and that's not necessarily an excuse. Obviously, things can always be improved upon, like we said before. But I feel that he needs to be cut a tiny bit of slack, because, you know, he puts a lot of effort in, and he also does work behind the scenes that probably lasts 5 to 10 hours at times in a day. So he definitely deserves more credit than he receives. But either way, guys, that's going to be the GG coming in. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I have been kind of just blabbering on for the last 20-25 minutes, but you know, I just wanted to get this video out really quickly. If you want to support me or Chaos TV, you can support me by subscribing to my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Facebook. It's facebook.com/MetuzTV. And to support Chaos TV, you can go to their Facebook. It's /Chaos TV, obviously. And their YouTube is /Chaos Contingency. So please head on over to there, give them some love. It's not just League of Legends they cover, they do quite a lot of different games. And until next time, guys, which will probably be Fear coming up today or tomorrow, peace, take care, bye bye.